What is the best revenge on a cheating partner? My wife left after I had a health issue so she could enjoy her life. I recovered, joined the gym, joined a whip dancing club, and got out with friends at least 4 nights a week. Took my grown kids out fishing on the weekends. Dated some, but more importantly made a lot of lady friends that really helped raise my self-worth. 11 years later, I married a fantastic woman who makes my life wonderful. We've been together for almost 30 years now, and she told me she owes my ex a debt of gratitude for making me available. My ex quickly married someone she met at a bar who refused to work, and she had to support them both. She's still unhappy with her life, so as far as I'm concerned, the best revenge is to forget they even exist and enjoy your life. Story 2. From a person who's been cheated on by 2 different partners, the best revenge is no revenge. Start taking care of yourself more. Go to a movie or dinner by yourself. Maybe pick up an exercise plan and begin appreciating the fact that you can find happiness all by yourself. They may never regret their behavior, and that's not for you to ponder. Going to bed every night with a clear conscience, knowing that you did your best and still have love in your heart, is a beautiful thing. Be well, friend. Story 3. Instead of focusing on revenge, put all of your energy into improving your life. Stay sober, stay focused, get therapy, start a journal, exercise, and if you have a job, get serious about your work. These are the things I did after my partner of 12 years cheated on me. I'm proud to say that as a result, I've lost 40 pounds, had several promotions, upgraded my house, bought a new Jeep, built a hot tub for it in my backyard, and I now take regular vacations. Now she's very unhappy with her choices and, unfortunately, stuck in an unhealthy relationship with a man she left me for. I almost feel sorry for… Nah, not really. Lol. Girl, bye. Story 4. When I was in my 20s, I was with this girl I really cared about. I truly thought it was going to last forever. She was beautiful, sweet, smart, and independent. I got a real sense she wanted to be with me, not needed to be with someone. Made me feel great. One day, I caught her sleeping with another guy. I was absolutely devastated, but instead of yelling, screaming, and acting violent or angry, I just said, "Oh crap, sorry," and left. I never picked up the phone again. I never went to get my stuff or any of their nonsense. I just cut her off. She called and left voicemails and texted me. They started out as, "You have to let me explain," to "Please give me another chance," to "The fact that you showed no emotion or anything and have just cut me off shows you never cared about me anyway." Eventually, she said she hated me and was glad she did it. Then she would apologize and say, "Please talk to me." It was pretty obvious that my reaction was eating her up inside. It hurts, but you move on. It's fine. In the end, she wasn't the right one. I'm happily married with 2 kids, 2 dogs, and a house now. Life is full of ups and downs. Don't let them define you. Story 5. My ex-wife wasn't cheating, but judging me by the lifestyle of others. Everything wasn't good enough. Not enough money, not enough traveling, old cars, etc. Everyone was doing better than us. Tried to explain and convince her that having a flat, a car, and no debt is good by today's standards and that I am sick of being compared to her friends. Towards the end, she was openly showing interest to her colleagues. She thought she could do better. We ended up divorcing. I met my current wife and have been much happier ever since. She, on the other hand, now sees how good it was. Story 6. I left my ex after I'd grown tired of her cheating and general negative behavior when she drank. I just got a better job and went to stay with a friend, as my ex and I lived together. My friend started dating a realtor, and she helped me find a house with a huge yard, just like my ex and I had always talked about. I started losing weight, gathering a group of female friends and seeing my existing friends a lot more. So I went from being a downer in an apartment to a happy homeowner. She, on the other hand, immediately moved from one relationship to another until she ended up with someone who was a regular at the bar where we both used to work. He eventually went to jail, and she then married a guy she reportedly despises. I only know all of this because it's been 4 years and she still randomly gets hammered and sends me a short novel of texts about how bad things are and how much she misses us. Story 7. You know what is not the best revenge? After breaking up, immediately entering into another relationship. It's not a competition against the person who screwed you over. There's nothing to win, and only potential mistakes to be made. This is an opportunity for you to assess the situation. Work more on yourself, post-mortem your relationship, and identify the red flags you failed to see. If finding true committed love is what you seek, it will come to you in time, but give yourself that time. Story 8. Level up in every way possible. After leaving my cheating ex, I took time to work on myself. I got in shape and acquired a skill that now earns me great money. I eventually met my wife of 12 years now, who's so gorgeous that even my ex gave me credit. Plus, she's an RN who's going back to school for a master's degree. I like the fact that we don't need each other. We want each other. My ex was and still is a cashier. There's nothing wrong with that, but I've surpassed her in so many ways. I'm also a homeowner now, while she roommates with a friend. It's really her loss. I live in a small town here in Rhode Island, so I bump into her once in a while, and yes, she might have broken my heart once, but I took her soul, and to me that's the ultimate victory. Story 9. This wasn't me, but my neighbor. He came home a few days early from deployment to surprise his wife for their anniversary. He walked in to find her and his best friend in their bed. He threw both of them out the window. Fortunately, it was the first floor, into a snow-packed yard. He promptly locked them out of the house. This was Fairbanks, Alaska in January, so it was about negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit outside, which is damn cold. I was out with my dogs and happened to witness the whole thing. I was passing away of laughter. His command was called, military police were called, she was given some clothes and went to her mom's house, and we never saw her again. I think he got the good end of the deal. He got out of that marriage with no kids and no alimony, and his command didn't read him in Article 15. He got a divorce and owed her nothing. His buddy, also active duty, was charged with adultery, which got him busted down to an E-nothing quicker than you can blink. Lost his pay and was confined to the barracks for a year. My neighbor told me everything. He was more than willing to spill the tea in that situation. Story 10. My mom told me this story. Someone she heard of, I can't remember if it was her friend or someone she saw on TV, found out her husband had been cheating. She didn't say anything, she just dumped him. She said she'd outgrown him and he wasn't good enough for her or something like that. She never mentioned the cheating. She never gave him the satisfaction of seeing her hurt. She never let him give excuses. She was the one in charge. He was nothing. He's the one that left feeling small and useless. More power to her. I don't think I'd be that strong. Story 11. Don't bother with revenge. So many people lash out or try having a conversation. Confronting them works against you in two ways. First, it can make you look incredibly weak. It doesn't matter how you go about it. Whether you react intensely or become emotional, your image might be forever tarnished in their mind. Keep your dignity and avoid it. Second, you might end up saying or doing something you'll regret, only for it to cause problems for you later. This could even involve legal consequences. The only case where you should confront them is if children are involved. There's no real way around it then. In all other cases, the best move is to simply disappear. If you're married, you can work towards the divorce after you've distanced yourself. And although it might not be a traditional form of revenge, ghosting them like this will definitely leave them feeling quite insignificant, which they might deserve. Story 12. Cheating is a symptom of entitlement and a flawed character. You realize you didn't really love them. You loved the image, the front they put up, and your idea of them. Going no contact, getting some therapy, and then building a wonderful life for yourself is the way to go. You deserve better than someone that is damaged. Maybe there will be tearful voicemail messages. Maybe you'll never hear from them again because they know you know who they really are. Either way, why waste your energy? You have better things to do and a new life to build. Story 13. The best response, honestly, is to forget about them and move on. It sucks, I know. You discovered that the person you loved didn't feel the same way and has been deceptive. They didn't trust you enough to speak openly about their feelings and felt that deceiving you was a better option. But being petty, engaging in retaliatory actions, or damaging shared property will only make the situation worse and reflect poorly on you. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Forget about them. They didn't care about you, so why should you go to any extra lengths to prove you still care about them? Accept that what you had is gone. It will take time. You'll feel terrible. You'll grieve. You'll be depressed for a while, but you will emerge a better person because you won't be dwelling on those negative feelings. Then you can start to date other people. Find someone who genuinely cares about you. Someone worth spending your time and effort on. Find someone who is far better for you than your ex ever was and lead a happy life. If they ever look back and think about what could have been, they'll see you happy, living your best life, without them in it. When that happens, you'll have your revenge, and you'll never even know it. Story 14. Don't be like them. I know, in the heat of the moment, you want to hurt that person who causes all the pain to you, but it will help you only for some short time period, because you will live your guilt for the rest of your life. Guilt of knowing that you are not that much better person than your cheating partner. He does it first is a childish and not valid argument. Instead, try to work on yourself, to be the best person you can potentially be. Try to be happy in the future. Forget about those who hurt you and focus on those who make you happy. Only that way you can find happiness in your life again. Story 15. When someone cheats on you, the pain is so deep that the first instinct most people have is, what can I do to retaliate? It's understandable, but it's also emotional thinking. If you use rational thought, you'll realize that there's actually not much you can do to hurt someone who's cheated on you. They don't care. How you're feeling means little to nothing to them, obviously. You're not going to make them think, I wish I hadn't done that by anything you do, and even if you do, isn't it too late? What's the purpose? What's the outcome goal? The fact of it is, if someone cheats on you, the best thing to do is be sad and angry about it for a while so you can truly process out those feelings and not bring them to the table in the next relationship. It'll take time, but eventually you'll view it as part of your past and not part of your current mindset. It won't do to be the person who got cheated on your whole life. Ignore the cheater. Process the negativity the best you can. Don't be a cheated on forever and live the one life you've got on this water rock as happily as any of us can in this mess. Story 16. The best revenge is the waiting game. Knowing one day he or she will come back, looking to get back together, You can listen to them cry, beg, and plead that it was the biggest mistake of their lives. Then, at the end of this diatribe, you get to tell them to F the F right off, and that you're over and done with them. If they say they've changed and are a better person, congratulate them and tell them that they can practice their newfound changeness on someone else. Remind them that you will never give them another chance to deceive you the way they did before and to never contact or speak to you ever again. Bonus points if set in an ever-increasing volume in a restaurant. Having already paid your portion of the check and left an excellent tip for the server so you can walk out while they're publicly sobbing with tears of sweet revenge. Story 17. When my girlfriend and I got really serious and decided to be exclusive, she said to me on the phone, "I want you to listen to this very carefully." I said, "Okay," and she replied, "No, I want you to listen to this very carefully." I said, "Okay, I will listen very carefully." 2 awkward minutes of silence. She then asked, "Did you hear that?" I said, "What?" She responded, "Nothing." She continued, "I'm not going to nag you. I'm not going to follow you. I'm not going to check your texts or your cell phone, but if you ever lie or cheat on me, that's just what you're going to hear from me for the rest of your life." I hope it reads like it happened. It was a little theatrical, but pretty convincing. 2 years later, we're still talking. Not because I feel threatened, but because I deeply enjoy what we have. Story 18. Okay, I just realized how mature most of the answers are. Still, I'd like to share something I once read in a book. A woman found out that her husband was cheating. Before she confronted and left him, she prepared little surprises. I can't remember all of them, but one was that she sewed dried sardines into the curtain hems. After she left him, the other woman moved in with her ex. A couple of months down the road, they had to move out because they just couldn't figure out where the smell was coming from and couldn't stand it anymore. When they moved, they took the curtains with them. I read it when I was a kid and found it brilliant. Story 19. Be totally indifferent about it. Get your stuff and leave. Don't make a scene or fight. Nothing. Just say, "Okay, go be with him. I'm out." Even though it may be a gut-wrenching and heartbreaking feeling, I learned a long time ago that people hate indifference. Act towards them like they're just another person that you aren't affected by it. It will mess with their head so badly because you didn't respond at all. They'll be thinking, "Are they cheating too? Did they just not care about me? What? Why aren't you upset at any of this?" It drove my ex crazy when she cheated, and I, from outward appearance, acted like I didn't care at all and literally moved on with my life. It hurt, but I never saw an ounce of emotion from me towards them, good or bad. Story 20. I dated a girl right after high school for quite a while. She cheated regularly, and I, being young and foolish, kept trying to confront the other guys. I finally stopped caring and moved on. Some time went by, and I guess she got tired of guys who treated her poorly, so she came crawling back. I was done with her at this point, but I was also broke and needed tickets to a music festival the following week, so I told her I'd agree to see her for 1 hour in a public place if she brought me tickets to that concert. Astoundingly, she agreed to that absurd request. During that meeting, I then told her I would hang out with her at the 3-day festival. She got us a hotel room close by. She actually did that, too. The first night there, we hung out and then went back to the hotel. We were intimate, and I allowed her to initiate the encounter. The next day at the festival, my chemical romance ended the night, and when they played "I Don't Love You Like I Loved You Yesterday," I went up to her, kissed her, and said, "This song is for you." Then I went and enjoyed the muddy ground, and after the set, I ran into another girl I had been talking to for a while, and I left with her instead. Story 21. I used to work doing silver service at wedding venues, and one time, a married couple was renewing their vows. Hours passed, and everything was going great, until the wedding cake came out. The cake had a mountaintop snow scene with 2 figurines in ski gear embracing on top, and another figurine in a 4x4, smoking and wearing sunglasses, driving into the sunset at the bottom. It was a masterpiece. You could see the bride studying the cake, clearly wondering about something. There was a noticeable change in her demeanor. Then came the speeches, where the husband announced to everyone that he had found out about her affair with her ski instructor and that he was filing for divorce, leaving her with nothing. It was incredible to witness, but quite shocking. Story 22. Karma definitely seemed to take care of that for me. The last ex I had, right after my ex-wife, so I guess she might have been a rebound, but I'm not sure, did a lot of nasty stuff. She tried to make my dog run away and talk badly about my mom after my mom told her she needed to learn manners for trying to take a yogurt without asking. The yogurt thing was minor, but you don't talk badly about my mom. Seriously. Anyway, after I broke up with her 2 weeks later, she was literally married to the most random guy. He later went to jail for harming his ex. The few times I've seen her since we broke up, she's gained a lot of weight and has a much fouler attitude than when we dated. Meanwhile, I'm at the love of my life. Bought a house and I'm living my best life. Story 23. I let my husband's girlfriend live with us for about 3 months after she told me she had slept with him. I became her friend and we did a lot of things together. Didn't talk to each other or anything. He would come home from work and have to face both of us. I finally threw her out of the house when she complained to me that I wasn't being fair to her. She was hoping that I would divorce my husband so she could have him. I probably should have done that. Story 24. Currently working on it. She has a tendency to crash events. I have a feeling she'll try and crash a film festival my college is planning, so I'm making my submission with a main character based on her. She doesn't know I know she cheated, so before the movie starts, I'll look for her in the audience and tell everyone if they have any questions about the main character, the one that cheats and emotionally damages the rest. They can ask her. Story 25. I had a boyfriend who cheated. When I found out who was involved with our neighbor and another girl from our gym at the same time, he forgot that I knew his Facebook password. I logged into his Facebook and found that he had been talking to about 41 women. 6 of them were at the I love you stage and thought he was just traveling all the time. So, I sent a mass group message to all 41 women he was talking to and or involved with, letting them all know who I was and what he was doing. About an hour later, he was texting me saying that his phone was blowing up and everyone was calling him an a-hole. LMAO. Karma's a female dog, mother trucker. Story 26. Forgive them if you love them that much and you want to try to understand why they behave the way they do or just leave and try to be happy. Why get revenge? And for what, even? They were an independent person who chose to make a decision. Sure, it's an unethical one, but they didn't commit a crime against you. They made a choice at that moment, maybe with intent to leave you behind or maybe with a regret, but they still have a right to do whatever with their body as a free human being. Revenge is such a useless action. The need for revenge is a useless emotion. I really don't get it. I'll never get it. If your goal is to leave that person in the past and to make them obsolete in your world, why is there even a need for such a thing? If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button for more videos like this. Story 27. I worked at the same place as my ex. Ironically, she was super paranoid I would cheat with these 2 other girls we worked with. She would regularly tell me how they clearly wanted my attention and it bothered her. It wasn't intentional revenge, but about a week or 2 after we broke up due to her cheating on me, I ended up going to a party where these 2 girls were also present. They both came back to my place afterward, and I had my first triad. Rumors quickly spread at work, and my ex was livid when she found out about it. It really wasn't out of spite that I did it, but it felt good that it got under her skin. She texted me years later when she broke it off with a guy she had cheated with and made some reference to a part of our relationship she missed. I legitimately didn't know who it was from the text alone and had to ask who it was. She embarrassingly had to respond, "It's so-and-so," and tried to recover with some flirty texts. I responded to all of them with pretty ruthless jokes at her expense. She quickly gave up whatever rekindling attempt she was making, and I've gladly never heard from her again. All in all, I'm glad she cheated because it showed me who she was and also solidified my desire to remain faithful in my relationships. Story 28. Not reacting insanely. Understanding that the pain is unimaginable, but they will never be able to say you were some sort of unhinged partner. It's easy to lose your composure in the midst of betrayal. If you stay calm, accept, understand, and move on from the pain, they'll see that they didn't have the control over you that they thought. It takes forever, and sometimes we have to fake it, but don't let them break you. Forget them. Cheaters are losers. Be the winner. That's the best revenge. Story 29. To rise above them, make an even better life for yourself. Just tell them that you're disappointed in their lack of morals and lack of courage. Tell them they will have to live with the guilt and the knowledge that both they and their new partner now know they are people who cheat. If it happened to you, it can happen to them, and they can live with that doubt and fear their whole relationship. And then never lower yourself to vent or tell off the person they cheated with. They're beneath you. If you have kids, limit your discussions to topics concerning your children. Only talk to your ex about the business of divorce or parenting. Meanwhile, go make yourself the best life you can and do what you want. Story 30. Once in a while, I'll send my ex glitter bombs, all from different places, so the package is different each time. I also sign him up for every single thing I come across online. Adopt a panda? Gotcha. Need a payday loan? Why not? Need new windows? Sign him up. He also had some beef with the neighbor, so I contacted the neighbor and told her absolutely everything that he had documented and sent to the building managers. This guy cheated on me while I was recovering from surgery. He took time off work to look after me and help me recover. Instead, he spent the time with a girl I was told not to worry about. Their anniversary is 2 days before he kicked me out of the house. Emotionally, I know I won. I got a great job, my absolute dream house, and I'm now married and have the most beautiful baby. Story 31. For any bad relationship, including one with infidelity, the best approach is to cut ties completely. Stop seeing them. Delete their contact information from your phone or remove them from your social media. Do the same for anyone associated with them or who reminds you of them, unless that person is a genuine friend who positively contributes to your life. Then use all your amazing newfound free time to get out, do fun things, and meet new people. Eventually, you can seek a new partner who truly deserves you. Perhaps give yourself 3 months to a year of me time before diving into a new relationship. Most importantly, don't look back for a second. Even if your former partner asks you to, maybe especially if they ask you to. If you're having a really hard time not dwelling on them or the pain they caused, try coming up with a word, phrase, or image to think of whenever they cross your mind. This can help you switch the channel in your thoughts and start focusing on anything else. If that doesn't work, consider talking to a therapist. They can help you address any underlying issues that are making it difficult to move on, which may have nothing to do with your ex. Story 32. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy. Dragging around thoughts of revenge is like drinking poison and hoping the other person gets sick. It's a cancer that sucks away any possibility of you ever being happy. Let them go. Learn from the painful split and slowly start making steady progress and making your life better. Someday you'll meet someone wonderful and you need to be impressive. Not necessarily rich or handsome, just someone that a wonderful person would want to have in their life. Story 33. I hurt myself on the job once, and I went home early to hear the screaming. I felt terrible, and it was even worse because her screams were much louder for him than they ever were for me. I took a picture of my house with my cheating wife's car next to her boss's truck, and I called the regional director and corporate office, telling them the story and mentioning the picture. The picture wasn't proof, but it gave my statement a little more credibility. The next week came the tears, apologies, and begging me to stay. Then a week later, she called me, screaming that she had lost her job and never wanted to see me again. I still felt hollow, but a tad better. Story 34. I had a girlfriend I treated like a queen for about a year. She started cheating on me with one of her coworkers. I wasn't upset as much as I was angry that everything seemed to be going great until that point. She lived in a small rural community and I lived in a growing micro-city. I would take her out to places she couldn't even pronounce and showed her a real night in the town every time she came to stay at my place. After she cheated, I wanted payback. I went online and searched for properties all over the world, collecting several addresses from those properties. Since I knew all of her personal information, I went to the post office every couple of days for about 2 weeks and turned in a change of address for her. Her mail got sent all over the world for who knows how long. She never figured it out, and my roommates and I got a great laugh out of it. Story 35. I found out my ex was spending upwards of $700 in OF subscriptions while also verbally and mentally mistreating me about our financial problems. I was spending $10 a month on Kindle Unlimited so I could have some sort of joy, and he was spending an additional $500 a month on stuff for his gun hobby. I finally managed to leave him in a safe way, divorced him, and now I have an amazing husband who literally treats me like gold. He loves and appreciates me so deeply it brings me to my emotional knees every single day with appreciation. The best revenge is being happy. Story 36. Stay with him and DNA test your son. That's what my friend is doing. He found out his wife has been involved with her ex, who she works with, for the entire 12 years they've been together. She's been going to his house at lunch, then coming home and playing happy families. It's unreal. He's devastated by this. He's been having panic attacks and is a shadow of his former self. I honestly don't know how it must feel to realize your whole life for the last 12 years has been a lie, but to actually stay and try to work through that is beyond me. She's somehow making out that she's a victim in all of this, of course, because my friend had to work away sometimes to provide for the family, while she's engaging in activities on her lunch break. If I were him, I'd be gone and not looking back. His wife's in her 40s, my friend's in his early 30s. I can't fathom why he's not leaving. If I were him, I'd get my own place, at the gym, live the single life, and expose her to his and her family for the cheating, lying person that she is. She's ruined him, utterly ruined him, and he's so heartbroken he can't accept it. It's scary. If he doesn't leave, I think he might do something reckless. There's only so much turmoil a man can take. Don't know how you can spoon your wife and watch Netflix after finding out that it's over. Never was. Story 37. Mention something that sounds like the name of the person they were cheating with and then claim it was just a slip of the tongue. Repeatedly almost find evidence of infidelity. Say things like, that was really good intimacy last night. Wait, I forgot, that wasn't with me, was it? If they ask, deny having said it. Other than that, act normal. Make them constantly worry they have been found out. Always second-guessing themselves about whether you know or not, but never sure either way. What you said could maybe have been a joke, a slip of the tongue. Maybe they are becoming paranoid and seeing monsters in the shadows. Or maybe, you know. Story 38. Doing better than them. My ex found my current partner and me in a dating website. Made a joint profile, looked for a third. It didn't really work out. It went crazy on me because I supposedly ruined her life. Apparently, she was upset that my best friend wanted nothing to do with her after she cheated on me. I did act like a schmuck after we broke up and apologized, so then she resorted to insulting my current partner, who I've been with for 8 years now and have never been happier. Oh, I don't know. It's kind of cool knowing that she faced an uphill battle to even get her bearings. She had to move back in with her mom, turn to street work, and just kind of floated along. Not discounting street work, but it was a far cry from her dream of being an environmental lawyer, a public health expert. I don't know. It changed constantly. But I'm no longer petty and thankful she was with that other person. I would have asked her to marry me because I was so self-deluded and convinced that since we were best friends from a young age, it was meant to be. It was not. She has a great job now and a name for herself, so I'm happy for her. And I have everything I ever wanted, too. Pretty rad how it worked out. Story 39. This wasn't planned, but I had an ex who told me she wanted to break up, then left the house for 2 weeks. I kept asking when she would come get her stuff, and she wouldn't respond at all. She eventually came back and asked me if, after our time apart, I thought about things and wanted to stay together and work on stuff. I simply said, "You dumped you once you were single, huh?" It may as well have been written on her face. She was trying to play the "have you thought about things now" card, like I was supposed to have learned my lesson, but I could see the desperation. She'd gone from being the one to end things to having lost it all. About 2 days after she left, my neighbor was outside having a smoke, and I asked, "Can I get one of those?" Yada yada yada. I'd been having intimacy with my neighbor for a week and a half by the time this lady came back for her mysterious sabbatical. She raged at me, completely hypocritically, for cheating. Then I just got up and went to the neighbor's place. They came back a few hours later, and she was packing up a suitcase. She'd clearly been rage crying for a while. I should have just put her stuff in the storage before that, but oh well, she would have seen me. Apparently, the guy dumped her as soon as she said, "It's just you and me now." So her 2-week vacation was just her sitting in a friend's apartment, crying and trying to come up with a way to get me back after dumping me. In the process, she even staked out a place until she saw me with a neighbor, then decided that was the moment we were even for her cheating, regardless of the fact that she'd broken up with me and was already cheating. So my point is, just know that they're the person who cheats. That's the lifestyle they live. It's usually an own goal for them. Story 40. Not the best revenge, but it was my petty revenge. 23 years ago, my ex and I broke up. She was cheating on me with some random guy she met on MySpace. So, for the month I was stuck sharing a 2-bedroom apartment with her, almost every morning in the shower, I would take the cap off her conditioner and put weird stuff into the bottle. Then I would give it a shake. She had a white, creamy conditioner, and as far as I know, she never knew. I was young, angry, and trying to be edgy. It made me feel better while doing it, though. Story 41. I really never cared about revenge, which truly bothered my ex. She would do things to try and make me mad, but they wouldn't work. Then she would get upset that I wasn't mad and do something else to try and provoke me. It only ever hurt her child. I am 4-0 in family court with her, so I guess that's good. All I ever wanted was what's best for a child. All she ever wanted was to be right about everything she did wrong. Story 42. The best revenge is specific to the person. All these posts about forget they exist or best revenge is no revenge or BS. The definition of revenge is to inflict harm, emotional or physical, in response to an action. These answers are dodging the question. For example, best way to quit smoking? Don't start. The best revenge is to take away or destroy something they love. Maybe that thing is you, in which case you could use the methods mentioned above, but it could also be the new lover, an object, their reputation, etc. It's not about you, it's about them. Identify what they cherish and remove it from their life. Story 43. Moving on with your life is truly the best revenge. My ex-wife cheated on me, got pregnant very quickly after starting to date the other guy, had the baby, and then got married. Her mom recently ran into my mom and mentioned that she isn't doing great. Meanwhile, I got a better job, then another even better job, bought a nice house with my wonderful girlfriend, and have been happier than ever. I learned a lot from that relationship and honestly did improve as a person because of it, but it was time to bury it and move on. And it did wonderful things for me. Story 44. One of my friends' moms was emotionally mistreated by her husband. He constantly made her feel worthless and her life was miserable. She then found out her husband had been cheating on her for 3 years with several women. They eventually got a divorce, but before that she did this, in her own words. I got his Xbox and PS4. I destroyed one and sold the other one really cheap. I destroyed his computer and I talked to his boss how he would take some of his salary and give it to me for child support. It was sweet revenge, even though her child and she now go to therapy. One of her children, who is just 9, has trust issues and doesn't get along with some people, and her mother is still dealing with depression from all the emotional cruelty. Story 45. So I have an ex that fancied my roommate or best friend at the time. He lived in the dorms, apartment style, so my roommate and I got our own rooms by pure luck, and he lived across the hall from us. He broke up with me and then immediately started dating my roommate, so while I have no concrete proof he was cheating, I'm pretty sure he was. He'd spend almost every night in my roommate's room, and every morning he would wake up around 7:30, go over to his apartment to take his meds, and then come back. He had to unlock the door to our apartment to come back in, but I had an 8 a.m. class and would wake up right before him to get ready anyway. I'd make sure to leave right before he got back, and I'd lock the door behind me so he couldn't get back in. I'm not good at big acts of revenge, so I was very petty with this. Luckily, I moved to a different dorm the next semester and didn't have to deal with him, but not before reporting that they were spending almost every night together to the RAs. You can't have the opposite gender spend the night. I also told all my coworkers about him, and since I work at Walmart, we see him every week. I told them about his weird cat thing and how he'd meow during intimacy, so they now all meow at him in passing. Story 46. I didn't even have to do anything. She was at my place picking up some of her stuff after I kicked her out. While we were loading boxes into her friend's car, she gets a call from the guy she cheated on me with. In short, he said he never wanted to hear from her again, and she broke down in tears and started whining about how much she wanted to be with him, blah blah blah. I just picked up another box and said, yeah, it really sucks to find out that you're not enough for the person you love. She looked like she had been slapped. Lol. Story 47. I'm living across the street from my ex. We were married for 16 years, then she cheated on me with a fat American who was apparently her soulmate. I bought the house across the street as a rental and moved in there. 12 years later, I'm very happily married and she's still single. Turns out he wouldn't leave his wife for her. My kids came and lived with me, and every so often I see her and I'm polite. Story 48. Happiness. Either they have no regrets for their actions and will hate the fact that you're too busy being happy without them to even acknowledge them, or they do regret their actions and seeing you so happy they might one day think, well, he must have been a good one if he's capable of being happy without me. And you win by default, just by virtue of the fact that you're happy in itself. But it also has the side benefit that you come out of the breakup looking better off for it, while they have to live with the fact of their own cheating and your lack of needing them back. Story 49. I guess I'm too petty because live a happy life isn't a good enough revenge for me. I'll be doing that with or without a cheater because I don't allow my identity to get consumed by another person. My only ex that I confirmed cheated on me used an anonymous app called Whisper to text people. I had a mutual friend who alerted me to what he was doing and the types of things he was posting. I found one of his posts and started talking to him. I really laid it on thick for about 1.5 months. On the day he finally wanted to meet her, I met him at the bagel shop in town and very loudly announced that I was Lauren, and I hoped he was able to move on with his life the same way I had already moved on with mine. Also, that his stuff had been put in a box and shipped to his mother's address. Would I do that now? Probably not, but I was young and angry. I'd enact much better revenge now. Story 50. Revenge because someone is no longer in love with you? You've been cheated on, and you're hurting. We get it. You're looking for someone to blame, but there's nothing to grab onto. Revenge won't stop the hurt, nor will it bring back love or make you feel better. What's worse is that, statistically, it might happen again with someone different. Solution: live an amazing life where you don't need validation from others to feel good about yourself. Don't pin all of your happiness or sense of self-worth on someone other than yourself. We like to think that we love unconditionally, but that's nonsense. When we love, we have millions of little conditions that must be met, or we move on to someone who may offer us those things. Story 51. Well, I'll go ahead and break from the be better, move on, forget crowd, which is frankly a bit boring. I caught her lying about where she was going and gave her one last chance to respond to a message asking if she wanted to talk. She ignored it, so I took the entirety of my last paycheck out of her joint account. I was the only one bringing in any money and wasn't about to finance her cheating, leaving nothing in that account. And I turned her phone off for the night, slept like a rock, and woke up the next morning. I turned her phone back on and asked if she was ready to talk yet. According to her, she was done with me and it was just a test to see if I trusted her. No, I don't trust you, crazy lady. Well, if you like these stories, here's more. YouTube thinks you're going to love this. Catch you in that better.